Hey, Alex. With all the new guys in your room this year and the way this offseason has gone and training camp is set up, what are you guys trying to do to kind of speed up that chemistry before you take the field on week one?
Yeah, that's a great question. We were very limited this off season. Everybody was spread across the country, so we relied heavily on Zoom meetings. But now that we're back in the facility together, we're doing everything we can, to build that chemistry. Whether we're on the field, getting after it, competing against one another, each other. We got group chats going on with each other, to joke around and build that chemistry up. And then, we're talking through the playbook with each other after our runs in the locker room and quizzing each other, and just pushing one another. And, that's the best way you can build chemistry right now. We're very limited still. And, we're trying to take full advantage of the time we have together.
Alex, is there any real substitution for getting in pads for offensive linemen? Those non-padded practices are, good for quarterbacks and receivers and corners, but for linemen, can you really kind of even replicate what it's like to be with the guys up front until you have the pads on?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those non-pad days are great to work your fundamentals and technique. And playing offensive lineman, that's what it comes down to. The pads, that's when your physicality and your mean streak comes out. But on those off days when there's no pads, that's a great time to focus on your first two steps, your hand placement, exaggerating the bend and playing low. And that's a huge advantage for us when we have no pads. It's focusing on those three things and getting better.
Alex, I know you've only been around him for a few days, but what was your initial impression when you met Makai Becton for the first time? And how, over the last few days, what are your takeaways?
I call that rookie the Great Wall of Green. He's massive, and 6'8", 360, and he looks great. I'm excited to see what he can do on the field when we put pads on. And I know he's coming in and he's quiet, and as a rookie should be, but he's a sponge. He's soaking up everything we're telling him, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
You ever been around a player that big in your career?
Absolutely. Previous employment, we had Orlando Brown, a very similar build. Played right tackle for us, and now he was a Pro Bowler last year. So I'm excited to see what Makai can do here.
Alex, how much responsibility do you feel as the guy playing next to Makai, kind of help him along, bring him along as a rookie?
As a rookie, the game's very fast. Everybody goes through that adjustment. The speed of the game, the speed of players. So, my job, I don't want to carry an extra burden. I'm just there to help him along, when it comes to the mental aspect. You don't want him thinking too much, and then playing slow. So if I can be out there, dialing in all the calls, so it's not a whole lot of thinking and he can just play football, that's what I'm going to do. And, I think everyone's taking that ownership across the O-line. We want to play fast and we want to play physical.
Alex, what is a realistic expectation for the line and for the offense as a whole this year?
The best way I can put it is just get better one day at a time. We're facing a lot of adversity this year. I just want to shout out all the doctors and nurses out there, the heroes, but they're facing the real adversity. But as athletes, you're always going to face challenges, and it's how you respond. And that's just focusing on your job, getting better every single day and getting better at the one thing that you're focusing on at that time.
Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Dan.
Yeah, Alex, last month, Coach Gase was attacked in the paper, and you came to his defense on a couple of occasions on social media. Why did you do that, and what is your position on Coach Gase?
I love Coach Gase. I got mad respect for him. And, I'm just here, bringing the team together. We got one objective, and that's to play football and win football games. And, all the other stuff is noise. So I'm just excited to be back with the team and push forward and start hitting people.
Alex, what is your confidence level across the league, players across the league being disciplined enough to do the right things so they're in the right places to minimize any potential spread of the virus?
we're professional athletes, so it takes a lot of ownership on each individual. And, I think the league and every organization is doing their part in player safety, because without the players, this game's not happening. And, I want to shout out that, and that's been phenomenal here with our organization, with the Jets. And I'm looking forward to getting back out on that field.
What can you tell us about the new center?
Connor's a great guy, played well in Denver, and very smart from what I picked up already, eager to learn the playbook, eager to really master it, and look forward to communicating with him on the field and getting after people.
Brian Winters was kind of the elder statesman in that room. You spent a year with him. What was that like, losing him kind of abruptly the other day?
It's always tough to lose a good friend and teammate, but at the same time, it's also business. And that's just something that you got to get used to as a pro and overcome it and move forward. And, I wish him the best of luck. I'm going to be rooting for him, just not when we're playing against him.
Alex, having said that, has it been kind of weird for you just seeing the amount of turnover that you've had in that room, and being a guy who one of the holdovers, so to speak, from that line from last year? What's that been like for you, just to kind of see all of this change?
It's not weird. This is going on my 5th year now, and there's always new guys, new faces coming in, and old faces leaving, and it's something that you just got to adapt to. And for me personally, all I can focus on is my job. I can't worry about what upstairs does with personnel or anything like that. And when you start worrying about that stuff, it takes away your focus on what you have to do personally and as a pro. So when I walk in the building, and I step my foot across that line, I'm just thinking about what can I get better at today.
Alex, have you ever been a part of, outside of your first year in college and I guess your first year in high school, have you ever been a part of a line that had 4 new guys?
It's difficult always bringing new guys in and building that chemistry, but at the same time, it's very common. You look at last year, we started multiple different lines week in and week out, due to injuries and whatnot. And, that's just something you got to overcome. And like I said, it falls back on that personal ownership of every guy doing their job. So when one guy goes down, next man up and ready to roll.
How big is the challenge for a new offensive line dealing with stunts and twists and switch-off blocks without having any preseason games?
That's always going to be a big challenge, and that's a challenge that every offensive line faces, whether you've been together for a while or a new O-line. And, that's just being on the same page and trusting one another and working your fundamentals and technique. When you're working twists, you can't be on different levels. You got to be on the same level to pass them off. You got to be on the same page communication-wise. And, you got to master that stuff, and that's what we're attempting to do right now.
Alex, have you
that you learned from going through that situation where you had so many new offensive linemen and moving parts? What did you learn, and how do you think you'll be able to apply it this year?
I'll go back to just doing my job. When you're worried about what the right tackle's doing, if he's new in there, or the left tackle or center, it's taking away your focus. So when you get in there and it's a new line and a new player, you just got to focus on what your job title is, because it takes all 11 guys working together to win football games in this league.
Alex, have you seen the new helmets that I know they're distributing across the league? I don't know if you know about it. If you don't, would you be open to wearing a helmet like that could potentially limit the possible spread?
I haven't seen the new helmets yet, but anything that's for player safety, I'm all for it.
Anything else for Alex?
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, everyone.